Hello, everybody. This is Ivon Reborn. This video, if you are a priest, especially in Lukumi, you are going to have some thoughts, some feelings. If you smoke cigarettes, put a box right next to you. If you drink, get yourself some wine. You're gonna need it. If you smoke cigars, get yourself a box because you're gonna need it. I said that I was going to reveal life and tell my story. So maferefung orumila, I'm doing exactly as I'm told, but I don't like it. And you're going to find out why. I'm going to take you back to 2021. We're going to talk about a few months in that year. As I said before, when I did Cariocha, and it was supposed to be Lukumi style, I only came out with Yamaya and Chango. I had gone in with Eshu, that was birthed from my husband's Ifa. Ogun, which was given to me originally from Obatala. I know if he sees this, he's going to freak the hell out. Osun, which was also originally given to me from Obatala, but he reinforced it. He already knows, by the way, and he already had his heart attacks. And of course, Ochosi, which was with the Ogun. I had to have notes. This was a video that I wanted to do off the cuff, but I can't do it off the cuff. There was a lot there, and I wanted to make sure that nothing was missed. So, like the Venezolanos say, vamos a empezar este mere con B, and let's get started. My husband started pushing early in 2021 that I needed to completarme because I was not complete. I'm going to go on that. I promise I'm going to go on that. And the first thing he started pushing was for me to separate my chango from his. So I know that Alejos and Aborishas listen to this, so I'm not going to say exactly what I was given. But for Lukumi priests, I will say this. I only came out with one ota with my chango and a couple of little things like tomates del mar and a couple of other stuff. No tools, no vessel. So he started pushing. I think he started earlier in 2020, but I didn't pay no mind. I'm like, if he doesn't mind, I'm going to leave him right there. And in my husband's tureen, well, not tureen, because, Chango doesn't have a tureen. He has a wooden vessel and blah, 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 and a pilong and all that stuff. His chango took most of the space, and I had one little space inside of his chango vessel for mine. And that was like that since 2011, since I was born into, Lukumi originally. And I said, Chango has been down many times. He hasn't said anything to me like, what's the rush? But I said, okay, 2021, he's been pushing. And what he kept saying is, you need to move your Chango to its own vessel. You need to receive Obatala, Oya, and Oshun, because I did not get them in my Ocha. So I needed to be complete. And he's like, that is what is going to complete you. And I was like, no rush. And I didn't have the money. I was not rushing. Let me tell you, I'm shaking as I'm telling you the story. I sent him, I remember, money for the casting of the stones. That's my PayPal receipt. I promise I am going to reverse this video so that you can see it. So I pay him the $35 to go to Ifa to cast for the stones for my chango. That's done. And because I lived there, he basically took care of that for me. And I remember I went to IKEA to buy 2 huge salad bowls, which I think was very smart. His idea, I still think it was smart. And that was done, that was put there. He purchased the tools and then I reimbursed him. And that's it. The feeding happened. I know that there were the birds, animals, all that stuff, and I paid him for that. So now my chango is separate. And he starts pushing that I need to receive Obatala because in the reading it says that I need to because I'm crazy and, it's going to help settle my head and I need to receive Obatala. And in my ita, it also comes out that I need to receive Oya. And I was supposed to receive her, but it didn't happen. So maybe my godmother can do both of them at the same time. That's the story I want to focus on. I know you all are screaming about the chango. I get it. But I want you to pay attention to this story now. Remember that he kept saying que yo no estoy completa. I'm not a complete priest, even though I've been functioning as one and have been an Adubona until I have Obatala Oya and Oshun. I'm actually going to keep looking at my notes because I couldn't even organize my thoughts as I was jotting things down. So we pick a date where my godmother's going to be. My godmother, Irma Gonzalez, Oshun Fumilayo, Ekundayo, there's a lot of names. And the dates were chosen in July, but I don't have the money yet. And I did not want to rush to do this until I had plata en mano, like money in hand. But they pushed anyway. John said, talk to Irma. She's very good. Just do a payment plan. You need to get this. You need to get this. And they're rushing, and they're pushing me because I did not want to. So I sacrificed my birthday weekend to receive Obatala, Oya, and Elegua because I was not birthed with Elegua. Eshu is what comes with me to the Cuarto de Santo. Remember, I don't want to do it. Not because I don't want to do it. I want to do it. But I didn't have the money at the time. When she gets there, of course, now they're going through, the list of all the stuff. So him and her, they're, falta esto. Do you have this? Do we have the herbs? Do we have los animales? Like everything that's, they're going whatever. And I don't know what it was that I said. I said something in my house, by the way. This is my house too. And I remember Irma sat in my dining room table and she's like, well, because I don't understand, because I'm doing this and I'm not even getting paid for it. And we had to put, foot for the animals and foot for the herbs. Y la vida no es gratis, but she's getting it for free. I'm quiet, but I feel like shit because I knew that I didn't want to do this ceremony until I had dinero en mano because him and her, they sat there to make fun of me because I didn't have the money. I stayed quiet. I said, okay, está bien, not a problem. But they kept at it, by the way. That was the joke of the weekend. Now, it was 3 days. It was day 1, day 2, day 3. And I think it was day 2 that what I'm about to tell you happened. So they were sleeping late. And not me, I'm up and at them early in the morning. And I realized they're going to wash my eshu and they're going to feed my eshu because from that eshu, the elegua is going to be birthed. And I'm like, oh shit, I fucked up. So when my husband gives you eshu, he gives you 5 cowrie shells. Those cowrie shells are to be used in place of obi if you don't have it. However, it's so easy to use that all of us pretty much use those shells. And I used to carry my shells with me almost everywhere I went, just in case. Pero se me pierde una. I lose one. So now I just have 4 and I lose the 5th one. I'm like, oh crap. I'm going to try to fix this. So I'm going to tell you what I did. And I'm going to keep this very short because I know that Alejos and Aborishas are going to be watching this video. and I don't want them to start doing stuff. So there was a feeding to Eshu a couple of weeks before or 2 weeks before for some ebo, and it was to Eshu. So I remember that we kept some of that eje that already had some of the herbs in it and all that stuff, and it was frozen. And I said, mira para allá. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one blank, like one regular cowrie shell that had not been consecrated. I'm going to put it in a gourd. I'm going to add some of that eje in there with the airways. And I'm going to put that one that was not consecrated with the ones that were consecrated so it can marinate. And that way, well, it's consecrated. I got that because I saw somebody in my house do that before. And I said, mira, that's a good idea. And that way you don't have to kill a brand new animal to consecrate. This is great because it's about to be fed that day. I leave the gourd, it's a little gourd, with my eshu, which was next to my yemaya at that time. And we're getting ready. Now they're up, they're all, doing the stuff because I think Ogun something was going on with Ogun outside. We used to keep Ogun outside in the backyard. And my godmother comes because now I'm sitting in the mat. And I think I was bathed already because I was getting ready to go to the feeding of receiving Obatala and Oya and Elegua. And she goes, Omileti, can you tell me what's up with this? And I said, oh, mira. And I went and I told her, listen, I didn't have the fifth one. So in order to kind of consecrate it before today's feeding, I grabbed some of the edge that had already ewe from a previous eshuebo so that I can consecrate the fifth ones para estar completo el set before whatever. She goes, okay. So she goes back outside. I don't know what happens outside. I only know what's being told to me. So I'm still on the mat. I'm still dressed in white with a sheet around me, not full clothes, just a sheet. And she comes back with a notebook. Can you explain to me again what happened? And I'm confused because I just told her. I said, I lost my fifth shell, and I know that today we were going to do the feeding to Elegua, to Eshu, to birth the Elegua, and I wanted to have my complete set. So since you guys were sleeping, I did this. I went and got out of the freezer, eje with ewe, and I put them together in order to get them ready. But I wasn't hiding it. It literally was right there in the shelf with them. Like I was not hiding a thing. She goes, okay. So she goes back outside. She comes back in with her notebook. Can you repeat again? Because this is when I overhear, because Ogun said, da, 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 and the door was closed. So there was an issue with Ogun. And according to what happened, Ogun was angry at what I did. And so she goes back and she tells them, I guess the same thing. That is when I'm told that because of what I've done, the whole house is getting punished and everybody's shells is going to be taken away. I'm on the mat. I'm about to receive an orisha. 2 orishas. 3 orishas, right? 3. 1, 2, 3. I felt like shit. And now I'm feeling fear because I'm scared of whatever Ogun is going to do to me. And I'm feeling guilt because now my whole house, my god brothers and my god sisters, they're going to be punished. And like that, I start the abo. So in the house, he doesn't do that anymore, from what I understand. But in the house, it's suck it up, buttercup. Fix your face. The show must go on. And I had to keep my face as straight as possible, but I couldn't. I felt bad that now the shells were going to be taken away from everybody in the house. She takes her little notebook. She goes back. They talk. I can't hear nothing at this point. So I'm like, what happened? She goes, don't worry about that. Just focus on, she was very gentle. Focus on the abo. And I'm trying to focus. Okay. So the feeding happened. That went well. And as for those of you who are priests, you know this part. For those of you who are not, I'm only going to mention this. There is a time when you receive something that it's like you watch and you do. So whatever your godparent does, you're going to do this as well. And this is how you are taught of how to care for what you're receiving. Okay? Was that cryptic enough, priests? I hope so. Now it's time to wash Obatala first. Because I like what was easy. You know what I mean? It's just basically that, right? Now it's time to wash Obatala. I will never forget this. So I'm sitting here, Irma is to my right, so I'm watching her doing everything she's doing, and I'm quiet, because the one thing you will learn when you're in Egbe Abelebutioshe, when things are being done, you shut the fuck up and you don't say a word. Just nod, yes, no, that's it. So I'm washing, and this is why this story was so difficult, and I'm just going to tell the story. Coño, se joda. When she's doing what she needs to do, she's like, Obatala, please bless my goddaughter, and hopefully you can teach her some respect, because she doesn't know how to respect her elders and she doesn't know how to respect Orisha. Please, porque ella, ella quiere hacer lo que le da la gana, Obatala, just help her. Help her so that she can be, more obedient. And da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Whole time that I'm washing the otanes and the tools, that's what she's telling Obatala. I remember that I had the stones in my hands and my tears just kept falling on those stones. And it just kept falling because she kept talking on how disobedient I am. And I'm not a great godchild, and maybe I can learn, and I can learn some iwapele from Obatala because I obviously don't have any. And it just went on. I did not say a word. Yo me quedé calladita. My tears were just on top of those stones. By the time it was time to wash Oya, it was better. And, it wasn't anything about, how horrible I am anymore. It was just washing Oya. End of story. I will tell you, that experience fucked me up. That experience fucked me up so badly that every time, so Batala was way up high. So my husband built a built-in in the house where all of the Orishas were housed, at least the ones that were indoors, with the exceptions of the ones who had to be at the door or here or there, So my Obatala was up, high. I never looked up there ever again. I never opened that terrain again. I would look up and I would cry. And I would that was traumatic. That was so traumatic. And what's sad is that I painted that terrain with so much love. And I did that. I have not seen this Obatala or whatever's in there in months and months and months. So I moved this year. I had to move again. And I was so proud of my Obatala's terrain that I actually brought it. So I'm going to back up so you can see it. I painted, he gave me an old terrain that he had in Eshu's shed, and I paint the terrain. Okay? So this is the top. Okay. This is all hand painted by me. So basically did, I believe, is 2 doves and 2 elephants, right? And I painted the top nice and silver. It's beautiful, right? Even when I was getting it from where it was stored, I couldn't. Now I'm going to tell you something. For those of you who are saying that's a lie, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you 2 somethings. So here is where I pay Irma $1,000. Take a look at the date. Take a look at what it says. That's from my PayPal. What does that say? Obatala and Oya. Thanks. I also had to pay for her flight. And I did that. Okay? Yeah. Se ve al revés from here. I'm going to have to flip the video. I'm doing that so nobody will say that that's a lie. There's transaction numbers and the whole 9. What really is going to leave, what really left me baffled is the following. The trauma that I've gone through when it comes to Obatala to this day, even as I was bringing that in here, I didn't look inside. I can't. It brings me so much sorrow to look at that terrain because it started with so much love. Pero Irma se sentó a regañarme to holding her Obatala in her hands and make her better because she's just so disobedient. You know, make her have iwape, like so that she could be respectful to the elders and to Orisha and to her house. I thought I was so shit. I thought I was worse than shit. But here's the part that's gonna boggle your noodle. I get to speak to Obatala this year. Real Obatala, a real priest who mounts his Obatala. When he approaches me, of course I drop on the ground. But when I get up, he hugs me. After that, my face looks at the floor. Because I am so ashamed. And I know that it's not Obatala's fault. And I know that. But Obatala knew what had happened to me. The funny thing is, that person didn't know who I was. We figured out how we were connected after the Bembe is over, way after the Bembe is over. But he didn't know who I was from Adam. Most of everybody there did not know who I was. And yo veo a Obatala and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And he just like, you don't have anything to be sorry about. I know you love me and I know you have faith in me. Yo te voy a ayudar a ti. I'm going to help you. I know what you went through over there. I know what you went through. And this is coming from the Orisha's mouth. He was saying some stuff that I had not spoken about. And I had a representative with me as a witness. Everything I do has a witness. He knew what had happened. He knew about the terrain. He knew. He knew. I didn't know him. He knew. And I'm going to say this. I know I have to tell my story, but and I said, I'm okay. That's why I'm going to do it today. I'm not okay right now. I will say this. Maferefunto Obatala. He really is the king of the white cloth. He really is wise. And he is so fucking patient. And he's caring. Because I thought he was going to be angry with me. But he wasn't. He knew. He knew. He knew. He knew what had gone down the day that I supposedly received him. Which, by the way, he verified that I didn't. But anyhow. I am putting this story out there. If there's anybody that's receiving anything, I'm going to give you a message first to the Borishas or Alejos first, and then to the priests. If anybody ever mistreats you, walk away. Just get up and walk away. It's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. It's going to get much worse. I promise you. Shit will not be better. Walk away. If you have to lose out on the money, so be it. Walk away. Now to the priests. There's a lot of you priests who wear your elder card in order to hablarles trujao a la gente, to speak roughly to people, maltratarlos, to mistreat them, to yell at them, to shame them and demean them. Understand this. Orisha watches. That's number one. They watch. And two, you will be responsible for that person's experience with that Orisha going forward. Is that what you want? Your Alejos, your Aborishas, your younger priests to remember on how you treated them like shit? I know some of you mean well. Don't do that. Don't do that. There are other ways of getting your point across. I am hoping that the community, the priests, will do better. I am hoping that the elders, if they are there to watch this, will do better and will tell the younger priests, así no se le habla al yabó o a la borisha o al hermano o a la hermana. We don't do that. Orisha watches, so does Egun. And I remember with what care I took painting that terrain and designing it. I was so proud of it. That went to shit. Obatala knew. Obatala's the one who told me. And he told me, I know, after he repeated the story. You think that you may want to do something a la escondida, like hidden in the shadows? Don't do it. Don't do it. And to try to shame somebody for not knowing or not doing or whatever, it can be a teachable moment. Kindly. I've said this over and over in my house. The new people don't get treated the way that the cuatro gatos, he used to call it the cuatro gatos. That was me, Irma, Oriomi, and Omitele. 4 of us, or 5 of us, if we're counting him. Everybody else gets treated beautifully. But that's not how we were raised in the traditions. And I'm putting this as a warning to all priests. If you've done this type of behavior, you're human. Fix it. Do not do that again to other people. I don't care what you got to do. Go to therapy, anger management, go to a rage room, do whatever you need to do. I say, Maferefung Obatala, for being patient and for actually taking the time to speak to me when he came to earth, and for making me feel that I am worth something. I want you to know that the support that I've gotten, I can't even express. I decided to post the receipts because I don't want to hear that it's bullshit and it's a lie. I want you to know that behavior like this can cause trauma. And that's not what we are doing this religion for. I'm asking you to share this video to folks so that they don't feel a kind of way so that they know, so that they won't have to be with somebody who is going to treat them badly in the name of Orisha. There were a lot of things that happened between Irma and I, which is funny because I loved her so much. I really did. I really did. But after this, I only went to her when my father died because nobody else was available. But I never went to her for anything after that. It was all for Sao because we had mandated readings that we had to do, I think, once or twice a year. It's all in the thing. And I think I went to her for the following year, which I don't even remember. All I know is I was paying dues, man. Again, to the allegers and aborishas, please, if anyone mistreats you and yells at you, just get up and walk away. Get up and go. No one should mistreat you like that. And I guess it was my fault that I stayed. But I mean, what the hell was I supposed to do? And where the fuck was I supposed to go? I lived there. Where was I going to walk away from? I would have never heard the end of it. And I didn't even think at that point I was even considering to walk away. So, yeah. Stay tuned for more of the story. May Obatala bless everybody. May they give us all cool. May he give us all cool heads, kind hearts, empathy for humanity. Because if not, our traditions are going to go to hell.